Hey folks, everybody's friend Fromark here once again, and this time around I've decided to do a one-off Let's Play of Sonic Crackers. The crackers, like cheese and crackers? Or no, from what I understand, the title was a misspelling of clackers, which is like a fancy ball on a string game. But anyways, the game's also misspelled as Sonic Studium, which is like Sonic Stadium, I would assume. Anyways, what this is like an early prototype of Knuckles Chaotix, which is pretty much indicated with the partner system here. Basically, it's just a test prototype with some early music and early stuff from Chaotix, and there was a point in time where Knuckles Chaotix was intended to be a Sonic game, and it was just intended to be another Sonic game on the Genesis. So this is basically like a pitch demo, and it was picked up and turned into Knuckles Chaotix, which I feel like this would have been pretty cool as a standalone Genesis game. I think there's some pretty neat stuff going on here, although the partner system is definitely broken and you can only do so much from what is developed at this point in the game. This is the April 1st, 1994 build, which is often mistaken as a joke considering it was released on April Fool's Day. But there's really not much to do other than explore here. Just explore, take in the sights and sounds. Which there's not really a whole lot of sounds either, so there's no sound effects programmed in this version. And basically all you can do is just pick tails up, throw them occasionally, jump around, spin dash. There's no rings to collect despite there being a rings counter. And whenever you hit spikes, you lose rings, yeah, there you go. And you can keep losing rings, but you can't pick them up. And it doesn't kill you. It's just a thing that happens. But with each of these fancy levels, or attractions as they are called in this version, you just kind of wander around aimlessly until the timer runs out. Yeah, lose some more rings. But the two characters, Sonic and Tails, are tethered together with that partner system mechanic that would later become known as the partner system for Knuckles Chaotix, and I think it's a pretty neat concept, and I think it would have worked well in the Genesis. And now I'm stuck. And I'm just going to keep losing rings. However, there's a way around this, and just pause it, and when you pause it, you get the option to just free roam, and ooh, Sonic's a little dizzy there. Get it together, man. But yeah, some of the music here is just early versions of music that you'd get in Knuckles Chaotix. This is like one of the hub world themes. And then there's an early version of Speed Slider Zone, which I'll show that off a little bit later. From what I understand, though, there are multiple things going on. There's a second thing I will show off when the timer runs out, but I'll get there in just 15 more seconds. Just bounce around. Now, it seems like quite a bit of this has already been developed at this point in time. Because there's a lot to... there's not a lot to explore, but there's definitely plenty. And now that the timer has hit 3 minutes, I can get out of here. Now, there is a level select that I was showing off at the beginning of the part, but there's not really much to show off there, as a lot of it crashes the ROM, and here's the second part of the game, technically. It's like I would consider this almost to be like an early version of Sonic 3D Blast. I'm not really sure what the point of this is. It's called a field level, and to my understanding, it's just an early test demo of the kind of thing you'd see in Sonic 3D Blast. It looks pretty. Music here is good. It's another early version of Knuckles Chaotix music. And this concept here is not reused in Knuckles Chaotix. I'm going to get back to the main levels that are. And to my understanding, this is an early version of Speed Slider from Chaotix. And it's got very janky collision detection. And the sprites even kind of glitch out, as you see, as the ring kind of gets the arm with the ring kind of gets away from the characters, and they just kind of do their own thing. Like I said, what's been developed at this point in the game's history seems like there's a lot to work with. In fact, I need to find out if there's like any fancy fan hacks of this or not. As it just seems like there's a lot you can do with what exists of Sonic Crackers. And the mechanic where your characters can kind of bounce like I just did there, that's present in Chaotix as well as here. Now this looks like I'm going to run out of time in about 5 seconds. As each level or attraction or whatever is limited between like anywhere from a minute to 3 minutes. And there's only so much to show off in this prototype, as there's only a handful of like things. Like here's the other field level. There's only 2 field levels in Sonic Crackers, and this is the other one. Now this one looks pretty cool, but it doesn't look like it really goes to anything that's like, I mean, neither of them look like they really go to anything, but still looks pretty cool. Eventually I will do a Sonic 3D Blast Let's Play. I'm undecided on whether it'll be the Saturn or the Genesis version. Probably going to be the Genesis version since it'll be easier for me to record, even though I have a Saturn. Now since I pressed pause, I could free roam the field level. But also if you press pause, if you're in the field, you can skip back to one of the main levels. And here's another variation of the Chaotix Hub World theme in the background. And there's another version of the previous level or attraction. Not the speed slider one, but the one here. Now to my understanding, this is an early version of Techno Tower, which is also a level in Chaotix, but I could be way wrong. I mean, there's plenty of prototype builds of Chaotix and Sonic Crackers, but there's just not much information. Which is just kind of a shame. You'd think that like some developers or somebody would have came forward after over 20 years and said, hey, this is what we were doing at the time. But it is what it is. But this one's pretty cool as you get more space to zoom around. I mean, for the most part, it's similar to the Attraction 1 that I showed off. I pretty much try to cover all the bases here and just show off everything that there is to show off in this one. But yeah, I like Sonic Crackers for what it is. I mean, I wouldn't be playing it right now if that was the case. Now, there's like an infinite loop, pretty much, that the levels will do if you don't go to the level select or if you don't crash the game. It'll just keep repeating this and like the speed slider level over and over again. But it's still pretty neat stuff, as this actually, the Techno Tower thing or whatever it's supposed to be here, has more variations developed than Speed Slider does, as it just has the one. And it sure does like to take you back to that one a lot, as I think I did plenty of editing to get to where I needed to here for this recording. But yeah, it seems like plenty was developed here for the most part. I mean, there's a lot of sprite work, and the characters seem to have a lot of detailed animation compared to the other Genesis titles. And as you see, I've made it to the very top, and I glitched myself out. But that's nothing to worry about. I'll show off the field level once again, I guess, because that's where it's going to take me. Now, despite there being a pit right there in the middle, you cannot fall. And there's nothing to collect here. It's just a field. So I'll go ahead and get back to Speed Slider and show that off again. I like this area though. I mean, it's full of blue and yellow and all that good stuff, even if it's a broken mess. I do wish that this area was like, I don't know, I feel like it could have been like completed as is. I mean, without all the glitchiness, of course. You got Tails just hanging out down there. Looks like he doesn't need his tails anymore, 'cause they're just kind of doing their own thing. But yeah, what assets there are here I feel like could have been developed into their own zone and it would have been fine as it was. But eventually when I do my Knuckles Chaotix playthrough, I will get to Speed Slider Zone, which pretty much ends up being a completely different beast from what you see here. Looks like I'm going to run the clock out once again. I'll see if there's anything else to explore. Which, for the most part, there's not. I think I've pretty much covered all the bases at this point. I'm just going to keep things rolling for a couple more minutes just to see if there is anything else that I missed. Although at this point I highly doubt it. Now I'm stuck in the floor. Although, even though you can't explore a lot of this on foot, it seems like there is a lot to be seen in this area. But I ran myself out of time once again. It looks like it's going to take me to the second field once again. And I'll just go ahead and get the heck out of here. Ooh, the music changed. Something's different. I'm back here once again, but things do look a little bit different this time around. God, I love the music for this game. Even if it's only like 4 or 5 songs, and most of them just get used as hub world themes and Chaotix. But yeah, I don't understand why there's not much known about this game. Of course, with any video game, I don't really understand why there's not like a lot known about some games as opposed to others, and just... Didn't people document things back then? Or, like, what's the deal? Was there like any way to reach out to any of the people who worked on Crackers? But regardless of that, I mean, I think, yeah, this looks like it'll be the last of the things I show off. I'll go ahead and just zoom through here once again, and then when I run out of time, that'll be it. I got myself stuck right now. And somehow I did not hit those spikes. But yeah, there's no way to die in this, just, well, I guess running the timer out, technically, but... Other than that, I mean, just smooth sailing. I mean, unless you get stuck, and then you can just pause it and free roam. I do like that you can kind of hear some of the progress in the music, though, is where it was in the demo version here is it ended up being in Chaotix, so there's just a few little differences here and there. Sonic's got those neat falling animations. Looks like these sprites are ripped pretty much out of Sonic 2 and just added on, or built upon. And I'm stuck! Stuck! Of course, in my factory days, we used to yell stuck a lot because sometimes, well, we made TV dinners and like sometimes things would get stuck on conveyor belts. Or kind of like how Sonic got stuck right there. And sometimes you'd have to scream to whoever was operating the equipment to unjam whatever got stuck. You'd have to be like, stuck! Stuck! Hey! Or whenever I moved to day shift before I quit, we had this one old lady who would yell, Mo! Mo! At least that's what it sounded like anyway. Anyways, though. It looks like I'm just gonna finish things off here. I got 30 more seconds. And yeah, this has been Sonic Crackers for the most part. I mean, I've pretty much shown off everything there is to show off here. But for what it is, I mean, it's a neat little prototype. Maybe I'll play some more Sonic prototypes. I've always wanted to play Sonic 2 Beta on the channel, so maybe I can do that one day. Or maybe uncover some other prototypes to play on the channel. And it doesn't have to just be full, complete versions of the games. Anyways, folks, that's going to do it for Sonic Crackers. I thank y'all for tuning in for this one-off. This has been Fromark of Fromark Plays, and I will see you for whatever I do next. See ya!